Good evening, welcome to Sobriety Life, episode 11, with me, Richie Crook, back on the island of sunny Tenerife today. And today's episode, I want to talk about drink driving and decision making and mistakes we make whilst under the influence of the dreaded alcohol. Before I start, again, I like to say that I'm not an expert, I'm not connected to any governing bodies, and anything I say is just from past experiences, so please don't sue me. That's that out of the way now then. So just give you a brief overview of what's been going on in my life for the last 3 or 4 days since I last posted back in my hometown in the studio. And my feet haven't really touched the ground since then. So I went to the Oasis gig in Wembley, which was absolutely fantastic, and I'm pleased to say still sober, still living in sobriety, and it feels really good, because that was a major test for me. And I was apprehensive before I left for London with my wife, and I was it's not the fact that I thought I was going to drink, it was just that I knew that triggers would be there, and I was putting myself in a completely alcohol fueled environment, attended by 80 odd thousand, whatever it was, people, and there was going to be alcohol everywhere, and I knew that, and that was my choice to take myself and put myself into that position. And really it was also like a test for me as well. I mean, I've been in sobriety long enough, in and out of sobriety long enough, and that was why I was apprehensive, because I just knew that I would be getting triggers, and it was quite frightening really. But on the other flip it over, that I was quite looking forward to it, because I feel like I'm really in a strong place at the moment, and this channel and this podcasting is really helping me out, because my mind is now focused on the next stage of my life in sobriety. And I was saying about you need to find tools to combat the triggers, riding the waves, and you need to work at your sobriety. So there's no point in being a dry drunk where right, that's it, I'm never drinking again, and then you sort of knock it on the head, and then suddenly you find yourself getting back in, and then you relapse. So you really have to work at sobriety, which is what I'm trying to do, and it's something that I never really done in the past. It was always done on the willpower method, and then subsequently and inevitably I sort of relapsed, which is the scare word in my life at the moment. So anyway, went to Oasis. Liam was absolutely fantastic. It was really great. I mean, the singing, the music, I've run out of battery. I was filming so much of it, and I'm going to do a quick short on that as well, where I've got some good little mini videos which I'm going to put on and just use them as a bit of a short for this channel. Thanks to all the people that have texted me on the new WhatsApp number. I will add it up here as well today, and there's been some great messages of support as well, and I'm not looking for that, but it's really nice. And it's nice, it's not like anything, if someone says something nice to you, you're gonna, it makes your day basically. So these little messages I keep getting of, I'm not an alcoholic, but I just wanted to say, what you're broadcasting is really honest and from the heart, and that's exactly what I wanted to sort of, get over to you guys watching, is that things I'm saying is fact, and it's just my story and events that I have, and situations that I've been in due to alcohol, and now I write things down and try and find the pros and the cons of using alcohol. I mean, this is me again with a stat: 87% of people in the UK drink alcohol. 87%. So it's everywhere. I mean, I've also got some charts as well about the drugs, illegal drugs, use of, the percentage of people using illegal drugs and alcohol, and the damage it causes, and subsequently the sort of trouble it causes, like antisocial behaviour. And alcohol is by far out in the lead over substances like heroin, amphetamine, cannabis. Well, that usually just chills people out, but you know, all these stats are based upon, you know, do people steal to get the money? And but alcohol is by far out there as the worst drug out, you know, in circulation, and it's legal, which is, you know, it's crazy. And again, I don't mind, you know, I'm not here to preach people about alcohol, because I think it's great. Some people like you guys, or some, you know, people in my family, whatever, they can use alcohol responsibly and it doesn't affect their life, you know, and they use it to wind down, because it's like a sedative where it is a depressant, so it just calms you down. Unfortunately, those who've got the alcohol disorder, misuse disorder, like myself, which I'm not ashamed of anymore, you know, I don't, you know, when I've relapsed in the past and I've caused chaos and mayhem and in my head, obviously has a knock-on effect to everything that's in my circle of life. I don't choose to put myself in that situation. I don't, you know, I wouldn't go up to someone and say, right, here's £1,000, put me into that dire situation where you're almost suicidal, full of panic, worry, dread, remorse, can't sleep, panic attacks, anxiety. It's just, the list is endless. And I'm not here to really, I don't want to bore you, but I know I bore some people because they tell me that they use me to put them to sleep at bedtime. But anyway, I'm rambling now. So I'm just telling you how it is with people who can't drink responsibly. And now what I'm going to get onto now is the driving whilst under the influence of alcohol, drink driving. Now, all of us have been guilty of having one too many, or just, you know, 2 or 3 over the sort of the law, and getting in your car and driving home, and no problem at all. You know, it's not right, but providing you feel you're capable just to nip home, that's, you know, we've all been guilty of that. Unfortunately, myself, I was caught drink driving due to alcohol, but I'm just going to tell you the story and what trouble it landed me into. And again, a lot of these podcasts, you're going to get a lot of stories as well. If you don't like the stories, switch off. If you do, just give me a share the podcast and give me a like. And any recommendations you feel that I could improve, then I'm more than happy to listen to them and maybe implement them in the show. One thing before I start on the drink driving story is, a couple of episodes back, I was saying about trying something new, trying something different in your life. If you're struggling with alcohol misuse, you know, you might just thought, oh, he's just reading out of a script, but nothing is scripted whatsoever, absolutely nothing. I never stop the videos. Whatever I say just goes straight out there, which I think keeps it sort of more real, keeps the reality. But anyway, yeah, so I tried something new. I've just downloaded an app, Duolingo or Donlingo. It's to learn a different language. Now I've started learning Spanish, and it's just on my app on my iPhone, and it's great. I'm really, really into it. So that's taken up about an hour of my free time per day, and now I'm actually going into supermarkets, and I'm starting to be able to, or supermarkets or shop, whatever, and I'm starting to be able to read signs. I can now start reading, you know, what things are, instead of just cerveza, you know, beer. So it's good. I'm really, you know, even sort of saying please, por favor, or, you know, it's great. So I'm learning something new, taking myself out of a comfort zone and learning myself something new, and you'd be surprised how just like a change is as good as rest. So yeah, anyway, the dreaded drink driving. I'm going to tell you a story of what got me in a whole lot of trouble, and I'm lucky to still be here. I'm lucky that no one was hurt. I'm lucky I didn't kill myself. I'm lucky I didn't really seriously harm anyone else. And it could have been a whole lot worse situation. So the story goes like this. It was back quite a few years ago now, and part of my job again was traveling and sort of firefighting situations, you know, doing commissioning, getting things up and running, mechanical and electrical. Anyway, so my day started off around about 6 a.m. in the morning. Of course it's in the morning, but 6 a.m. So I had to go to a job in Wales, down by Cardiff. I'd be on site for about, I think it was 7:30, something like that. So I get to a job in Cardiff, and then I get a phone call. We need you to be in Northern Ireland by lunchtime. I was like, oh, for heaven's sake. So anyway, so I finished the job in Cardiff, shoot across to Bristol Airport, jump on a plane, take my tools at the airport, sink a couple of pints. That'd be fine. I'll just have a quick kip on the kip on the plane. Well, it's probably about 4 pints if I'm being perfectly honest. So obviously straight away, now my thought process has started to sort of dwindle a bit. My brain's not working properly. I've had an early start, and now I've got to go over to Northern Ireland. Anyway, so get on a plane, a few drinks at the airport, didn't have my sleep on the plane, had a couple more beers. So by the time I touched down in Northern Ireland, I've probably had 6 beers, let's just say, which is enough to put anyone sort of go and lie down and have a bit of a kip to sleep it off. Anyway, I then had to be on a site in Northern Ireland. Right, there's nobody going to meet me because I had the keys to most of the sites there. So I decided to buy myself 6 cans for the journey, for the hour-and-a-half journey to site. Which this is where it becomes really irresponsible. And some people might have done it, some people might not, and I'm not proud of it, and I'm very ashamed of it. But so yeah, so I'm now over the limit, 6 cans of lager, and I'm driving to a site an hour-and-a-half away. And you can imagine if someone was following me, they could probably tell by my, you know, I wasn't speeding, because this is an alcoholic mind. You don't sort of speed, you try and keep to the speed limit. You think you're in control, but really you're not. You're sort of 3 or 4 seconds off your reaction time to a normal sober person. But anyway, get to site, finish the job, have a look at my next plan for the next day. I know I have to be in St Andrews Golf Club in Scotland for another job. So I now need to get back to Belfast Airport, get on a plane and get over to Edinburgh, and then travel up hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever it is, to my job. So by this time, what have I had? 4, 6 on the plane, another 6 going to the job, on the job. Obviously, I'm making phone calls at, you know, during this time, so people can tell as well. Again, I'm over the limit, I'm ashamed. And anyway, so I start getting off back up to the airport. I booked my flight on the EasyJet on my phone, and stop in the garage to top the car up, a few more cans. Got to Belfast Airport, put the car in, a couple more pints, thinking, I've only got to go to, this is where I'm not thinking straight now. I only got to go to Scotland, I'll get straight in a hotel, no problem. Get to Edinburgh, a couple more drinks on the plane, get to Edinburgh, and I looked, as I come out of arrivals, there was a bench there, and it still haunts me to this day, every time I go to Edinburgh Airport, which is quite frequently. So I come out of the arrivals, I look at this bench, and it was around about like midnight by now. And I said to myself, I said, Rich, just lay down on that bench and have yourself a few hours kip. It doesn't matter. You can get your hire car, and then you can drive on up early in the morning, because a 5 a.m. start doesn't really bother me in the slightest. Or even 4, you know, I didn't go to bed on Sunday night when Saturday night when I come back from Oasis, just went straight to Bristol Airport and jumped straight on a plane, no sleep. So it wouldn't have been a problem. So I looked at the bench and I thought, go on, Rich, that would be the only sensible decision you've made all day, is to go and sleep on that bench, sleep it off for a few hours, then pick up your hire car. No, the alcoholic and the distorted thinking, you know, we've all done it, said, you know, when we've been drunk or pissed, we've all said something we regret the next morning. Some of us have blackouts, so we can't remember the day before. But anyway, on this occasion, I didn't process the thought to say, yes, go and put yourself on that bench. You know, you see a lot of people in airports doing it. It's just they're waiting for the next connecting flight or whatever. So anyway, so I then make a decision in my head that I'm going to go and try and get the hire car. So I stumble across to the hire car place, no names, I won't mention what company it was, and I couldn't believe my luck. Well, unlucky really. They gave me the keys to the car. So either I'm a fantastic actor or she must have had a blocked nose, because I must have stank of booze by that time, and I just sort of, I wish she would have just said to me, unfortunately, I can smell alcohol, you're not having a car, because that hasn't happened to me once before, and quite rightly so. Anyway, so they'd given me a car, quite a nice car, and I couldn't see straight. Weren't thinking properly, really tired. Anyway, I managed to drive out the airport. I mean, I weren't paralytic, let's not say that. I wasn't paralytic, I was tired, I was pretty drunk. And then I stopped at the garage, and guess what? Brought myself even more beers to try and perk myself up. Had quite a long journey up to the top. Why I didn't get a hotel, I drew crazy, because it was all off the cuff sort of booking flights and whatever. So anyway, so I made the stupid decision, and it still haunts me to this day, and I still can't get over it. I made the stupid decision of trying to drive up to St Andrews Golf Club for a big sort of big day on site the following day. I get about halfway up, I must have been all over the road. I really must have been all over the road, and I couldn't see properly. And luckily, you're up in the mountains. It's not during a rush hour or school time, but that's no excuse. I'm just trying to paint the picture, and I come to this really sharp corner with a big drop. It must have been hundreds of meters down to below to the ground or the bottom road. I mean, it was a big drop, and I missed the corner. Just carried on going straight, almost off the cliff. I managed to screech. There was no crash barrier there either. I managed to pull the car back round all over the road, done a bit of a 360 spin, which shook me up a lot. But for some reason I thought, oh right, got away with that one, let's carry on driving. And about half an hour up the road, I'm still drinking at this time, by the way, halfway up the road, this car starts following me. And he's getting faster and faster, so I'm getting faster and faster and faster. And by this time, we are screaming through these country roads of, pitch black in Scotland, -5 outside, very dangerous. I mean, either one of us could have been killed, and I didn't know, but I had no idea. If it had been a policeman, they would have pulled me over. Anyway, so I managed to get some kind of sense together. So I stopped the car, and there's a guy there, and his wife sat next to him. Well, I'll assume it's his wife. It could have been his mistress. You never know. And he said to me out the window, "You're pissed. Get out of that car now." And for some reason in my head, I mean, I should have. He was quite right. He was absolutely quite right. I should have got out of the car and give that guy my keys and arranged to meet him the next morning. End of story. Slept in the car. That would have been sensible. But again, I'm not thinking. Anyway, I decided to put my foot down and speed off. And now this guy is a super pursuit, speeding after me through the Scottish mountains. Every corner, or literally on two wheels, sparks flying everywhere. And I managed to lose him. God knows how no one was injured. So I parked up. I managed to get into like this cricket club or a social centre. I parked up, and I decided I was going to sleep there. I was starting, because the adrenaline was pumping. You start sobering up then when the adrenaline is pumping. I parked up by some recycling bins and thought, right, sleep there. No one's been hurt. Get up and go straight to site in the morning. Hour later, it felt like an hour. It's probably 10 minutes knowing me. I decided to get back in the car, have another drink, and make my way to the St Andrews Hotel, because they were going to be waiting for me for my room. Lo and behold, 15 minutes up the road, I see blue lights flashing behind me, like a big blue light. It was speeding. I started trying to get away from them. They're trained traffic police, so they're always going to be able to outrun somebody who doesn't know the area and shouldn't be trying to outrun a policeman anyway. Subsequently, they managed to corner me, roadblock, took me out of the car, bundled me in the van, took me to the local police station, and I had to be in court the next morning. And it was lucky they took me off the road when they did. You know, we're looking at 17, 18 drinks, still being able to sort of speak and hold a conversation with the police. And I was treated like shit, quite rightly so, thrown into these dingy cells with cockroaches, maggots. Oh, it was absolutely disgusting, with like all the other sort of heroin addicts, drug addicts, pissheads. And it was really rough. It was really rough. And I had an English accent, and they hate the English anyway. Nothing against Scottish people, but I'm just saying it as it is. Most people hate the English. So anyway, so I'm there, still in the same clothes as the night before, inside this cell, and then they take you down to the court cells. Bear in mind, at this time, 10 o'clock in the morning, I've missed my appointment at work. I had a crane there, which was costing about £5,000 a day, so I've wrecked that. I've messed all that up. So I had my bosses to answer to, the directors to answer to, my wife to answer to, my children to answer to. This is before I seen the judge. And I felt at an all-time low. And I would have given my right arm just to get a drink. I really would have. And the car, I didn't know where the car was, what they'd done with that or whatever. So I went in front of the judge. They said, we're going to adjourn it for, I think it was 6 months. They said, you're going to go to prison for a long time. You're over the limit by three times, something like that. And they basically give me the keys to go and get the car back. And I'm thinking to myself, this is not a good idea. But they did. They gave me the keys. I went and got the car. I didn't drink in the car. I felt terrible, felt remorseful, felt sick to the stomach. Just all them pretty shit feelings you have when you get a hangover anyway. And I managed to get myself back to the airport at Edinburgh. Started answering to everybody. And basically felt like an absolute idiot, which I was. And so as soon as I got to the airport, guess what? Straight drinking again. That's the alcoholic mind taking control then. So start drinking again. Time I get home, I'm pretty much pissed at home. Wife don't want to speak to me. Kids don't want to speak to me. In a whole lot of trouble. Might lose my job, might lose this, might lose that, might lose my family. And subsequently, it was at this point then where I really wanted to stop the addiction. And I knew I had a serious problem. It'd been sort of building up over the years of the job which I had at the time, and I had a group of lads working with me. Every time you finish in work, the drinks were free, the food was free, and after a while it just got to me where it started running into the next day. So I was probably over the limit most days I was at work and trying to hold conversations down with people face to face. And they must have known. It's impossible for them not to know. And I feel now and I think to myself, God, what were they saying about me when I was walking off? But if you've done the crime, do the time, you know? So you have to own it now and own the situation. And that's nothing to, I'm really shameful and ashamed of that story. And I've got many more stories to tell you, guys, if you're interested in listening to them. But I'll give you the outcome. I got, what was it? I think it was a £2,500 fine. I lost my license for 18 months. I avoided going to prison by the skin of my teeth because it cost me another £2,000 or £3,000 in barrister fees. And I had to keep going back to Scotland to attend about 4 or 5 different court dates. So I lost a hell of a lot of money, but I could have killed someone or I could have been killed, and that would have ruined their families, my families, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying is, you need to realise sometimes the addiction, we don't want to be in that situation. And that's why alcohol is such a powerful thing, and it can take over your life, and it will. And, you know, I could have died that night and the alcohol would have won, because I would have been dead. And that is exactly what they try and do. The alcohol will try and just take little chunks out of you it can until you are completely and utterly, well, dead really. You know, you'll be at a point of on your knees praying, saying, I just want all this to stop. or it'll kill you. So that's just a little story that, you know, that alcohol can, you know, the effects of alcohol. And it's not just sort of like being pissed and saying something to one of your close ones that you don't want to say and you can't remember it in the morning. It can take you to some deep, dark places. And that's exactly what it's done to me over the years. So I hope you enjoyed the video, the story. And it has been said honestly from my heart. And the next story might be a little bit more upbeat and there might be a bit more fun involved. But again, mostly everything, and every time I have been in trouble with the law, every single time it has been alcohol, to do with alcohol, because I'm not that person in sobriety, completely different. So if you want to make contact with me, it's support@sobrietylife.org, or you can WhatsApp me on the new WhatsApp number where I will get back to you. Contact me on Messenger, Facebook, Sobriety Life, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I will look forward to seeing you all in the next couple of days. Thank you very much. Take care out there.